is in molecular genetics and on fatty acids. Nakikita ko ng mga Amerikano, pagka makikinig sila sa kanya, Pilipino to, di ba? So, sa Japan ho, pinag-aralan niya yan, nagdalubhasa siya sa National Industrial Research Institute of the Agency of Science and Technology of Japan. 7 taon po siya doon. Nakita niyo yun? Naku. Ang third postdoctoral work niya, 2000 to 2001, he served as a medical scientist at the Edward Hines Veteran Hospital in Chicago, Illinois. Wow! Tama yun. Everybody says, wow! Yan. Awarded as an outstanding young scientist in the Philippines 1996. Alam niyo po yan, meron hanggang mula noong nagsimula sila ng award-giving body na yan, 262 pa lang po sa buong Pilipinas ang nabigyan ng kanyang-ganyang karangalan. Pinapalakpakan po yan. Okay? He is a former professor of molecular biology at the Mindanao State University, Iligan, and he had been a professor and had been loving to teach for 30 years. Naintindihan nyo? The professor of Mindanao, medicine sa Mindanao State University for the last 20 years. Next, please. Okay? Siya po ay Dean at Professor ng Mountain View College, Valencia City, Bukidnon. He is also a recognized scientist by the U.S. State Department. Hindi lang po dito, kundi po pati sa Amerika. Okay? And adjunct scientist of natural products chemistry at the University of California in Santa Cruz, California. Lahim, di ba? Wow. Doctor, who is that noise? Dok, nanonood ka na naman ang porno. Itatay mo. Joke po, kayo record yan. Doctor, mahirap pag binata ka eh. Dr. Oclarit is acclaimed as one of the who is who in the world of science since 1996 up to present. Okay, he is a permanent member of the National Research Council of the Philippines. Parang kasing haba ng profile ko to Kaya lang, field of science siya. Ako sa business. At saka community service. Anyway, he is an expert in natural products chemistry of antibiotics and molecular biology of antibiotic genes. Lalim, di ba? A pharmacognosy consultant of Gershon Pharmaceutical Laboratories since for 4 years. His distinct contributions to science is his discovery of 2 components. One anti-cancer agent against human blood cells. The other one, antibiotic against gram-positive bacteria, from which he gained 2 international patents for the molecules he discovered. The next, please. In year 2000, he also discovered an anti-tuberculosis drug and was awarded as the most outstanding researcher of the Department of Science and Technology. Researcher din po siya. Next, Dr. Oclarit has lectured in biomedical sciences to the Netherlands, to France, to Belgium, Brussels, Luxembourg, Spain, Scotland, Ireland, Belfast City, Northern Ireland, Dublin, Republic of Ireland, Germany, United States, Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Bangladesh, China, and now Forever Healthy Products. Nakita nyo, next. Dr. Oclarit also served as health lecturer or advisor for the Southern Asia Pacific Health Department Division of the Seventh-day Adventist. Seventh-day Adventist po siya. Kaya napakaganda ng puso, katulad ni Dr. Arlie. Palakpakan po natin. He is presently medical professor and director of research at the Matias and Asnar Memorial College of Medicine, Cebu. And since he was there, he has produced so many top board takers ng university. They produce top-notchers sa board. Can you believe that? And now he is the medical consultant of Forever Health Products. And my gosh, what makes me happy is he takes pride on it. Ang sabi niya, my gosh, ito yung hinahanap ko. Nung nakita niya yung clinical studies, my gosh, parang kala mo, yun ba kung college graduate na nagbabasa ng grade 1 lang, na ang dali-dali niyang naintindihan lahat. So kung hinahangaan niya ang produkto natin, copy the answer na lang! Huwag na ninyong i-qualify. Dahil itong taong ito na nagdalubhasa sa iba't ibang uri at departamento ng medisina, ay niyakap niya at nirerespeto kung ano ang dala natin. Sino tayo para i-question pa yan? Naintindihan nyo? So are you ready? Yes! Are you ready? Yes! Mga MD na PhD. Mukhang doktor na mga pero hindi pa doktor. Buha. Parang yung tawa mo, parang nakakaloko ka. Okay. With pride, with wholeheartedly, I would like to give you no other than Dr. Jose Oclarin! Sa susunod, aralan na kulisan na tayo!
Thank you very much, Ma'am Susan, for that very bombastic introduction. Lalagay mo na itong gadget para na-record. Anyway, magandang hapon po sa lahat. Si
Sa ilalim at sa likod. Pwede sa likod.
mic test 1, 2, 3. Okay, good afternoon once again, or good morning. This afternoon, I would like to I would like to present a lecture, or shall we say, a enlightenment about the nucleotides. No? Basically, our product is anchored on the nucleotides. But before I'm going to speak about the nucleotides, I would like first to discuss, can I be provided with a whiteboard marker? I'd like first to discuss to you the importance of the fulvic mineral, because the fulvic mineral, as you can see, is one of our flagship products. Is very important in the delivery of the nucleotides. Bagamat siya ay, sabihin natin, nucleotides are fundamental for, kasi ganito yan, fundamental for life. The organization of the living cell, there are 6 levels of organization of life, or shall we say cell, or shall we say living things, no? Living things. The first level of organization is atoms. Atoms and molecules. Then the atoms form into substances, which later on become, or say, from atoms to, shall we say, atoms to molecules. So we say atoms, like for example, hydrogen, oxygen is an atom, carbon. So when they are organized into substance, they are called molecules. The first molecules that ever existed, that is a component of life, are known as the amino acid. So this amino acid comprise what you call as the fundamental of proteins. As a matter of fact, the guiding principle of the NASA, or the National Aerospace Administration of the United States, when they search through the universe, or to the cosmic universe, when they want to search for a planet, okay, they are predicting this planet may soon run out of energy, kunya mahugaw na, ma-dirty na ang whole planet. It might be, will end up with, it will be carrying capacity. So they are looking for another planet where human beings can be transferred. But their guiding principle in the search for the planet is that any planet that has ammonia in the atmosphere would be a planet that has a potential for life. Bakit? It was found out that when ammonia will mix with water vapor, and of course water vapor, na meron ng oxygen diyan, the water, when ignited with lightning, ano bang kidlat, no? So when lightning will ignite the ammonia and water, it will form the first amino acid, which is the simplest among the amino acid in life, is glycine. So they say that if there is ammonia in the atmosphere, and of course water is present, there will be amino acid. And if there will be amino acid, there will be proteins. And if there will be protein, as we know in the definition, is the building block of cells. So when there is protein, there is cells. And this is now what you call as the living thing. So before the cells, there are all non-living. There are molecules, are non-living. Atoms are non-living. But once they are organized into cells, they are already considered to be living. Buhay na siya. But what makes cells are proteins, which are building blocks of cells. So the fourth level of organization of life is, so we have the cells grouped into group of cells, we call it tissues. When tissues, like example, liver tissue, or stomach, or intestine, or whatever, or your lungs, heart. When tissues are then grouped into a system, they become organ. And then when organ will be connected, one organ, heart, the blood vessels become a cardiovascular system. Or when the kidney is connected to the heart or to the lungs, it becomes what's called urinary system. So it becomes an system or our organ system. And then the last but not the least, you have already the organism. But where is the fundamental of life? Of course, atoms. Atoms has no meaning if they are not formed into complex molecules. But before the living cell is defined, this protein, which comprise what you call the very basic of life, is actually made of, in the central dogma of life, the DNA or the nucleic acid, we call it the genes, or in the layman's point, it is called the chromosome. I think everybody understand what a chromosome is. Siya naaman na sa inyo, sa lahi ninyo, sa genetics, it's your genes. So that genes dictates into, first they are transcribed into the adaptor molecule called RNA, or you call it the messenger RNA. So that code from the chromosomes, which are molecular in structure, are then transformed into proteins. So everything that revolves around a living thing, because the protein is the most fundamental of all living creatures. Whether it be animal, plant, bacteria, they are all made of proteins. As a matter of everything that you see in your body, from your hair down to your pupo, in your feet, are all proteins. The one you see, this is a protein. Our eyes is a protein. Everything that you see there is a protein. But that protein is dictated, the kind of protein that you appear. Maybe you have a protein with curly hair. You have a protein that with white skin. Meron pang protein na tao yung ilong mo. Kaya may protein dyan na baka balakang ka. Or putot, pitit. Wala kang magawa. No? Kasi yun ang genes mo. The way you look, the way you see yourself, is a protein. Every protein, every activity that your body will perform, the characteristic of your being a person, even the quality of your voice is dictated by the protein. But everything in the protein is dictated by DNA. Life is dictated, every activity of the cell is dictated by DNA. It cannot be tissue without the cell, but it cannot be cell without this DNA, because this directs all the activities of the person. Even the manner you wave your hand is defined by this DNA. The manner, the way you walk, the way you talk, is defined by your DNA. It cannot be controverted. No one is the same. Not even identical twins, because they have a slight difference. Every person here in this room had specific markers of proteins that identifies you being a person. That's why the latest technology on identification, it used to be only fingerprint. Then later on, they get retinal scan. But now, the most fundamental of all identities is that you have to go into DNA fingerprint. That's why if there is a dispute kung anak ba mo siya, anak mo ba talaga siya, then you go to DNA analysis. Why? Because everything is different. You are all different. We are all unique at the DNA level. We may behave like human beings. We behave like that. But our DNA to each and every one of us is different. So in other words, what I'm trying to emphasize is that every characteristic cell, every cell behave like that because of DNA. And if you're going to look at, so that is the fundamental. And then you will ask the question, that's why nowadays, the doctors in the medical intervention, they have realized the complexity of diseases. Bakit nakasakit yan? Bakit hindi nakaihi yan? Kasi nasira yung kanyang kidney. And what is the kidney? There you have, the kidney cell is called nephron. So, the nephron, it's now, kaya ang doktor na nag-specialize sa kidney ay nephrologist. Kasi yung cell doon sa kidney, don't you know that in one kidney you have 1 million nephrons? Another kidney, you have two kidneys, the left and right. One kidney has about 1 million nephrons. And if that 1 million nephrons has only functional, if that 1 million has only 15%, ano na yan? Borderline ka na. Ibig sabihin, pag ang 1 million nephron mo, mayroon na lang 150,000 nang nag-function, yun, mayroon ka na kailangan na i-dialysis. Ang tanong ngayon, Doktor, kaya pa bang ayusin yung nephron na yan? Yung nag-dialysis, kaya pa ba nating ayusin yan? The answer is yes. Why? Because you can repair the cells. And how do you repair the cells? You repair first the DNA. And that is why, alam mo kung tutuusin, everything boils down to that nuclear material, which is the DNA. But nobody has paid attention to it because they thought that once a cell is already alive, it will sustain itself. That is true. You eat to sustain. Otherwise, if you don't eat, it will not be sustained. But this is the point. Once a baby is born, the DNA of that baby is already fixed. And therefore, in order to produce another cell, the DNA must be duplicated. And this is the requirement. Every cell that has to divide and develop and multiply, the prerequisite is DNA duplication. This is true. Now supposing you have a cell, you have here a cell, you call it the parent cell. It has its complete chromosome. Like, why is the complete cell is always represented by 2N? Because one set is presented by the mother, another set is presented by the father. The mother and the father, N plus N equals 2N. But there's more than that. It's wonderful. You have only 1/2 of the chromosome. The chromosome sa tao is 46. 1/2 of 46, 23. 1/2 din yung sa sperm, 1/2 sa egg, 1/2. 1/2 plus 1/2 equals, that's why the Bible says, and you, the two, become one. When the husband marries to the wife, or the man marries to the woman, the 1/2 of the man plus the 1/2 of the woman becomes one. And I think the Bible is true. Wonderful. But this cell, which is the parent cell, has to divide into 2 daughter cells. So before that particular, that 2N there represents the DNA. And before that cell will be divided, there must be the duplication of that DNA, so that when they divide, another set will go to one cell, another set will go to that cell. There is no cell proliferation, there is no cell growth unless the DNA is duplicated. Now you will say, Doctor, how will I revive this cell? Once the cell is, somehow there are damaged, naigo siya sa adlaw, nagsige siya kaon og buwan, nagkaon ng chichirya, kumain ng, tagtagalog pala dapat. Kumain siya nagtamaan siya ng araw, naglaro siya doon sa football field. Kasi yung araw na yan, yung haring araw na yan, maraming yung radiation. May x-ray yan, alam mo ba? Hindi nyo alam na ang may x-ray. Alam nyo hindi? Ang iba alam, ang iba wala. Mukha nila lang. Kaya mag-ingat kayo sa araw, may x-ray yan. Much more damaging than x-ray are gamma rays. Kaya yung mga nakikemo, ang ginagamit yan, gamma. Para pag natamaan yung cancer, patay. Gamma rays, cobalt 60, gamma yan. So, pag natamaan mo sa araw, chances are, kung ito yung DNA mo, nandun yung mga nucleotides, A, G, T, U, pag natamaan yan, kick out yan. Sira DNA mo. Kaso ang ganda lang ng natin, pag nasira, kasi sa ating katawan pala, yung DNA natin, 90% are nonsense. Oh, you should be very proud of yourself. Your DNA, the nucleotides in your body, 90% of that are nonsense. Nonsense. Wala kwenta. Alam mo ba, I was wondering when I studied about DNA, that ito pala mga nucleotides na sa katawan natin that comprise ng DNA, 90% of that are nonsense. Sabi ko, Lord, bakit naman gumawa ka ng isang DNA ng tao na 90% ang nonsense? Alam ng Lord, because we are in this planet and we are never isolated with that cosmic universe. And there are so many radiations that can every now, every day, can knock out some of your nucleotides. Naglakad ka lang doon. Baka nakuha yung cytosine mo. Naglakad mo doon yung nucleotide mo na G. Kasi yung guanine. Naglakad ka doon, naglaro ka, natanggal yung A. Because the nucleotides are represented by these letters. Adenine, guanine, thymine, uracil. And these are all letters. Naglalaro ka, na-kick out yung G.
mabuti na lang, nilagyan ng Lord ng 90% nonsense. Kasi pag natamaan, 90% din yung yung walang kwenta. Di ba sabi na, ay Lord, salamat kung hindi mo na sana nilagyan ng 90, baka ngayon ang iba ng tsura ko. Kasi everything that is dictated, everything that you see in a person is dictated by the DNA. So mayroong kabuluhan yung paggawa. Kasi the Lord is so wise.
Yes.
When He designed our body, He designed it in such a way that we will be protected. So somehow, the 90% nucleotides that are nonsense are not nonsense at all. Because God designed it to protect you from possible damage. But don't be happy because even if we have that nonsense, mayroon pa tayong 10%
May sense.
nonsense. And don't you know that that 10% is also protected? Only 1.5% to 2% of the DNA becomes our protein. Only about the 6 or say 1.5, 8.5% to 8% are what you call regulatory DNA sequence. What do you mean by that? That when your particular DNA dictates a protein, it must have a regulatory sequence that will turn that DNA on and express to what you see, what you are now. You see, the characteristic of that cell is expressed because here is the DNA that must be turned on by this regulatory sequence. Do you see? The Lord has really created a system that is so perfect. And one thing good with our system is that every time that there are DNA that are damaged, so what are those damaging effects of that will damage our chromosomes or DNA? Sunlight. Those yung kinakain mo, chemical substances, food additives, food coloring, chichirya, soft drinks, all this will destroy the DNA. In other words, as you live day by day, you accumulate some of these errors. You accumulate some of those nucleotides that were knocked out, that were removed, that were modified because of your lifestyle. Therefore, as we go along with our life, some of those nucleotides are not available. And so as we grow older, nung bata pa tayo, malakas maglakad, no? Tumakbo. Meron akong tinanong na teacher ko, 60 years old na siya. Sabi ko, ay, ma'am, kamusta na po kayo? Sabi niya, ay, eto, habang tumatanda, bumabagal. Habang tumatanda, bumabagal. Bakit? Sumasakit na yung ating mga joints. Bakit? Luminipis-nipis na yung ating mga cartilage. Pero paglakad na nag-ano na sila, nag-traction. Bakit? Manipis na. Bakit? Bakit manipis na? Kulang na yung nucleotides. Kulang na yung mga elements that will build the cells.
Malupit na.
Because as you go along, as we progress with our age, many of these nucleotides are knocked out by this radiation, by these chemical substances. Some of the nucleotides join with other molecules and they form a bad molecule that can later on cause disease. As you can see, a disease therefore is created by an error of the DNA. So now everybody goes to the cell. It is now recognized in the field of medical therapeutics that DNA must now be examined to a particular cell that is now destroyed. Because everything, as you can see in this diagram, the central dogma of life, the DNA lies here. Where's the pointer? The DNA lies here. Every protein that is expressed, all the things that you see in your person is a protein. Yung balat mo, bakit brown yan? Protein yan.
Bakit yung mata mo pula? May pula pa dito. May brown. May mga taong green ang mata. May mga taong blue ang kanilang eyes. What makes it blue? Their protein. So every expression is protein. So they found out that if some of these nucleotides are damaged, it will now express as a defective protein and therefore spells out what you call disease. The heart may nabutas. The heart is not functioning so well. The blood vessel is damaged. May mga cholesterol na dumikit doon. So some of those are not already functioning well because cholesterol is impeding their expression. And so now we have, may high blood siya. Bakit? Yung cholesterol na kinakain mo, dumidikit doon sa damaged DNA. And actually, that process of adhering, the cholesterol that we eat adheres to a damaged cell. That is an effort by the body to repair. Para hindi na siya masugatan. Dumikit ang cholesterol. Sa kasamaang palad, yung dumikit na cholesterol, nagiging atherosclerotic structures. And then it hardens the blood vessels that causes hypertension. So where does it come from? Knock out DNA molecules, then your protein is now dysfunctional. Your protein is modified. The way it looks now, it's not the original. Why? It was damaged. And I'd like to tell you, in this discussion that I have, you can see the molecules of DNA. So one of the nucleotides, so kilalanin nyo na kung ano mga pangalan ng nucleotides na yan. Ang pangalan na isa niyan, si adenine. So, sino ba yung pangalan dito? Si Adelina. So, parang adenine, no? Si thymine. So, siguro parang si Thelma. Oh. And then, mayroon pa siyang guanine. No? So, 4 lang yan siya. Dali mo din memorize. Alam mo ba? Millions of nucleotides, but there are only 4 kinds. ATGC. ATGC. Memorize din mo. Yun lang ang bibintahin nyo, yung nucleotides na yan. And the sequence of these nucleotides will now define what kind of protein it is. And if the sequence is altered because you are not careful with your diet, you're not careful with your lifestyle, somehow some of those DNA are damaged. Adenine, in the case of cytosine, pag natamaan siya, nagiging uracil. Ang guanine, pag natamaan siya, nagiging adenine. So, nag-iiba-iba. Why is it that there are mutations, there are cancer nowadays? Because the DNA are altered. The very cause of cancer is the alteration of that genetic code. And what is our genetic code? A, T, G, C. And these are nucleotides. Every expression of your face, every expression of your cell is a nucleotide. Then you will ask the question, doctor, what is the problem then in life? The problem is this. Once we were young inside the womb of our mother, our synthesis of nucleotide